Archaeologists revealed stunning Christian mosaic. 1500-year-old Christian mosaic in Turkey uncovers lost biblical traditions and early church history. A remarkable 1500-year-old Christian floor mosaic decorated with images echoing the biblical story of creation has been unearthed during the final stages of the 2025 excavations at Urfa Castle in southeastern Turkey. Archaeologists say the find offers rare insight into early Christian theology, worship practices, and the city's long standing religious heritage. Now, let's break down this story in detail on the AI
Welcome
podcast.
back to the Deep Dive. Today we are literally digging into history, traveling thousands of miles and, well, thousands of years back in time. We've pulled together the source material on two absolutely groundbreaking archaeological discoveries.
Yeah.
We're talking about two spectacular ancient Christian mosaics found recently in Turkey and Israel.
And they're forcing historians, theologians, everyone really, to rethink the entire timeline of the early church.
They really are.
And what makes these finds so remarkable is that they aren't just, isolated artifacts.
Right.
We're looking at two finds separated by about 250 years. And each one gives you this crystal clear, tangible window into the evolving symbolism, the social context, and the patronage that defined Christianity as it moved from, well, a small movement.
Often persecuted.
Exactly, into a dominant, organized religion.
And that's our mission for you today, to really understand what these tiny stones tell us about power, belief, and the spiritual landscape of the Roman and Byzantine world.
So let's start with the newest one.
Let's jump right in. The most recent find, fresh out of the dirt in 2025, a magnificent 1,500-year-old Christian floor mosaic unearthed in Urfa, Turkey.
And Urfa is a crucial location. For those listening, this is ancient Edessa, a city famous in antiquity, and it's revered in many traditions as the birthplace of Abraham. So finding a major Christian relic here is extremely significant.
And what a relic it is. I mean, this mosaic dates to the late 5th century, so somewhere between 460 and 495 AD.
Firmly in the Byzantine era, so this is established Christian power we're looking at.
It was found during excavations at Urfa Castle. So when we talk about bringing history to life, we have to get into the physical details. What are we actually looking at here?
You're looking at just immense craftsmanship. The floor is made up of countless tiny black, red, and white stone pieces, tesserae.
Right.
And they're arranged in these incredibly elaborate patterns. You have to think of the hours, the resources that went into this. This was not a quick community project. This was expensive.
A commissioned work of art.
A carefully commissioned artwork designed to convey prestige and profound meaning.
Okay, let's unpack that meaning, because the imagery on this floor it's far from simple decoration. It has depictions of animals, plants, and crucially, the four classical elements: air, water, earth, and fire. What are the experts saying about this? It sounds less like a church floor and more like a manuscript laid out in stone.
That's exactly the insight that archaeologists like Professor Gulris Cusby have drawn. They see it as a deliberate visual commentary on the creation story from Genesis.
Ah, okay.
By depicting the elements, the animals, the plants, all in these ordered panels, the mosaic is symbolizing God's original act of bringing order out of chaos.
So it's divine harmony.
It is a complete reflection of divine harmony and structure. It links the very physical makeup of the world to the order described in Scripture.
So when you were standing on this floor, you were literally standing on the ordered cosmos as designed by God.
Precisely. It brings a huge theological concept into a physical space.
And the building itself tells a story too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Initial analysis suggests this was a major religious center, maybe a large church, a chapel, or perhaps even a martyrium.
A martyrium being a shrine to a martyr.
A very prestigious shrine to a Christian martyr, yes. In Cosby, she points to these medallion-shaped motifs in each corner. She believes they weren't just decorative, they offer critical clues about early Christian ritual. They act as anchors for that whole theme of divine order.
It's just a stunning combination of sophisticated theology and very expensive artistry.
It really is.
Now, this is where it shifts, I think, from theology to the social and political structure of the time. And for you, the listener, this is where it gets really illuminating.
The inscription.
The Greek inscriptions woven right into the design, they confirm this highly organized religious and social hierarchy.
Yes, these inscriptions are historical gold. I mean, they let us move past theory and put actual names and titles to the Byzantine power structure. We know, for instance, the floor was built for the protection of Count Annacus and his family.
So right away, you have the patron. A wealthy local magnate, Count Annacus, funded this whole thing.
Which tells you that by the 5th century, the church was deeply integrated with the aristocracy, with the political machine of the empire.
Yeah, this isn't a grassroots movement anymore.
Not at all. The money and power came from the top, but then the inscription also names the key religious figures.
The whole hierarchy.
The full hierarchy. You have Bishop Kairos, head priest Elias, and Deacon Rabulus.
And Deacon Rabulus is interesting because of the specificity of his role. The sources suggest he was likely the principal reader in the worship service. Why is that important to carve into the floor?
Because it shows the professionalization of the clergy. The role of deacon, the principal reader, was vital. In an era where literacy wasn't universal and services were highly ritualized, this person held significant spiritual authority.
He's literally the voice of the scripture for the congregation.
Exactly. And listing him right there with the bishop and the priest underscores that these were established, high-profile offices that governed the community's spiritual life.
And there's an even clearer connection between this organized life and the physical site. The burials.
Yes, the burials. Archaeologists found 3 burials right near the Mosaic, and they believe they belonged to religious officials.
Wow.
This is crucial. It shows that the clergy who served there were later interred within the sacred site. It's an act of entrenching their authority, their spiritual power into the very foundation of the building.
Ensuring that continuity across generations.
That's it.
So that Urfa find gives us this incredibly detailed look at the established, ordered Byzantine church. But to really appreciate that evolution, we need to zoom out. Way back.
All the way back to the other discovery.
To the other one, yes.
Yeah.
The parallel discovery that was all over the news last year. The 1,800-year-old mosaic found beneath Megiddo prison in Israel.
The Megiddo find is just fundamentally different because of its age. We're talking 230 AD. This is pre-Constantine, pre-official recognition.
Before Christianity was legalized.
Right, and it is so important because it contains what many believe is the earliest known public inscription declaring Jesus as God.
I mean, that is a tectonic shift for dating early Christian belief. What's the specific quote?
The ancient Greek reads, "The God-loving Akeptus has offered the table to God Jesus Christ as a memorial."
And this was found in what they think is the world's first known Christian prayer hall.
Yes, and it's so high profile, it's been hailed as the greatest discovery since the Dead Sea Scrolls.
That magnitude alone tells you how much this pushes back our understanding of formalized worship. Now, if we look at the symbolism here, it's a bit different than the grand Genesis narrative in Urfa.
That's right. The symbolism here feels more nascent, more focused on early community practices. The inscription is about the offering, but the site also has other important motifs, like the fish symbol.
Referencing the feeding of the 5,000.
Referencing passages like Luke 9.16, yeah. The fish was central to the early faith, a sign of communal provision and sustenance. Megiddo feels like the faith is still establishing its core story.
Whereas Urfa feels like that story is fully codified.
Perfectly put.
What's maybe most fascinating here is the social context, especially given that 230 AD is squarely in the era of the Roman Empire, which often had a complicated relationship with Christianity.
It highlights just a huge amount of historical nuance, of coexistence. Look at the names. The inscription names Gaianus, who was a Roman officer.
He's a Roman officer.
And he actually financed the Mosaic. Just think about that. A Roman military official, part of the imperial machine, is funding the place where Christians are openly declaring Jesus as God.
That just runs completely contrary to the simple narrative of Christians hiding in catacombs.
It does. It suggests that, in this region at least, the relationship was much more complex. Maybe tolerance, maybe even some quiet integration.
And the fact that a Roman military camp was found nearby only strengthens that argument.
Absolutely. It suggests this wasn't clandestine worship in the dark. It implies they were operating with a degree of visibility, maybe even protected or at least tolerated by powerful local figures like Gaianus. You have to consider the local dynamics.
And we see that with gender too, right?
Yeah.
There's another crucial piece of social inclusion here that often gets obscured in later church histories.
Yes, the Megiddo inscription includes the names of 5 women: Akeptus, Pramila, Syriaca, Dorothea, and Crest.
5 women.
This is tremendously important. They're not just listed as attendees. Akeptus offered the table, meaning she likely funded the centerpiece of the worship hall.
She was a patron.
She was a patron. This powerfully illustrates the crucial, recognized role women played in the earliest church structure before those roles were often marginalized in later centuries.
So let's put it all together. What does this mean when you look at both mosaics side by side? You have Megiddo from 230 AD, a nascent community center, helped by a Roman officer and powerful women.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Urfa from the late 5th century, this grand, theologically sophisticated martyrium funded by a count and run by established bishops and deacons.
You get to actively watch the faith evolve across those 250 years. Megiddo is the foundation. The earliest declaration of Christ as God, the use of early communal symbols like the fish, the empowerment of key lay people, women, Roman soldiers. It's decentralized.
It's community-focused.
Exactly. And then Urfa shows you the culmination of that process.
The end result.
The sophisticated, established Byzantine church, a deep theological floor plan tied to Genesis, a formalized hierarchy, wealthy aristocratic patronage, and then burying those same officials in the site to cement their authority.
It's the transition from a prayer hall supported by women funding a table to a grand religious center, defining divine harmony and burying its clergy.
It's the ultimate visual history lesson. It shows you how symbolism, social hierarchy, and everyday devotion were all intertwined long before Christianity became the state religion of the empire.
These names, the titles, the symbols, they give us vital clues about who held authority and how faith evolved from, a local, flexible community into a powerful, centralized institution.
Correct. It shows us that the history written in stone can be just as complex and, frankly, just as detailed as any surviving text.
We always think of history being written in scrolls, in books, but these tiny stones, these fragile floors preserved deep underground, are doing so much work to rewrite our assumptions.
They certainly are. And I think the final provocative thought it leaves you with is just how much the physical artifacts of faith reveal about culture. These mosaics don't just tell us what people believed.
Right.
They show us the actual spiritual and cultural landscape of the ancient world. They connect art, commerce, power, burial customs, everything across millennia. It makes you wonder what crucial piece of spiritual and social history is currently lying right beneath our feet, waiting to reveal its own complex story.
Okay, one question for you. What does the newly discovered 1500-year-old mosaic in Urfa reveal about early Christian beliefs and biblical traditions? Don't forget to comment it. Thanks.